Welcome in Tuesday edition Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. No topics at all today. The college football circus that it is in full bloom yesterday. Nothing more than mostly press conferences to entertain us, but there was a notable firing. Coming at the end of the season. There was several things, including something that I just discovered a second ago, did not realize. With that off the top as well. A lot of stuff coming up on today's show. Ole Miss basketball had their exhibition game against Tusculum last night. They won by like 50. Mr. McCready was in attendance, but we're not really going to focus on much on that today. We'll get to that later, if at all. Ole Miss opens the season Monday, men and women on a Monday. The women with the Kids Day game against Queens at 11 o'clock, and then the men that night, 7 o'clock, Alabama State. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Good. Alabama State, the opponent for the men's. Get on all those stuff. MPW Digital, all podcasts brought to you by Twisted Tea. More on them in a little bit. And obviously, the Oxford Exxon, they're coming to town this weekend. A lot of reasons to stop in. The catering for the Grove, still got time for that. Ribs, pulled pork, lunch specials. So many options there with Oxford Exxon. Also, the helmet decals on Saturday morning, chance to win the game day shoes for home games. And more, you know about the lunch specials, $5.69, two sides bread, any size fountain drink, and more. And the beer cave, if you're just hanging out, coming to town, leaving town, or just in town and need a beer tonight, they can hook you up there at the Oxford Exxon. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Straight to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote. The rest completely up to you. You can shop your quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and let's hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Got a guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. Campbell Clinic's in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street. From the cottages at Hooper Hollow, the Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care, everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care to pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So plenty going on, like I said, mostly press conference related, which is not typically the case, but college football always gives a reason you love the stupid sport, and it's for things like yesterday for the most part. So I'll hit a good bit of it. A couple things off the top, though. One, had a friend text me last night, Neal. It is not on Bill Street. The Yale practice is on Friday at Lamar Yard in Oxford.
Oh.
There is a website where you can plan your midnight Yale festivities and make sure you as an Aggie know where to go on each road game.
They're going to do this at midnight?
I don't know what time it begins. I don't know if that is a literal thing or not, but Lamar Yard is the location Friday for midnight Yale. I saw the website. I had a friend who has been to one before show it to me, tell me that's where it will be.
Carson might make a little Uber money on Friday.
Midnight Yale, yeah.
He might.
The person who told me was unsure if when they do it on the road, if they do all like the dad jokes and make fun of the opposing team, or if it's simply doing the cheers and getting ready and getting your voice prepared for a raucous Saturday morning at the Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Lamar Yard, the location.
Okay, I got to find a time on that. This might happen.
Look, there might be a time. I'll look at that. I did not look for that.
I've got a 17-year-old designated driver.
I mean, I told you yesterday.
He's always looking for money. If I said, hey, $50 if you'll drive me to and from Lamar Yard.
I realize that I'm probably just setting Luker up for a problem, but I said yesterday, you really should help the kids. You do the Aggie Yell Leader video, do all the hand signals, all the just gestures and gyrations and things that they're doing there.
By the way, thoughts and prayers to Michael and his family. There's a health situation that's ongoing. So he will be out of town the next few days. He's already sent me his pics. He'll be out of town the next few days. I'll step up and try to handle the recruiting for the next few days. But think about Michael and his family.
Yeah. So the other thing too, I noticed this. There's always no good segue out of that, so it just is.
No, it's okay. I just thought of it. I wouldn't.
Dellinger on Yahoo Sports this morning. I keep forgetting he's a colleague now. What?
Nothing.
We have a lot of
There's just a lot
connectivity there.
There's a lot there.
First time since 2012 that on Halloween, not a single coach has been fired in college football.
It's because firing them is expensive.
That's the point. Yeah. The article here, and it dovetails into the conversation we're going to have in a couple different ways throughout the show today. So I thought it was fortuitous that we are seeing this right now. Brian Harsin was fired on Thanksgiving last year, and he was the 7th FBS head coach of the season to be fired or resign for performance reasons during the season at that point. By Halloween, a year removed from that, different place in 2023. Again, 0 have been fired or resigned for on-field performance.
Right.
So far this season. Agent says a lot of guys who are on the fence are owed a lot of money because buyouts are at an all-time high. 46 coaches have a buyout of at least $10 million. 46. 25 coaches have a buyout of at least $20 million. 15 coaches are at $30 million or more.
I mean, not to belabor it, it's very simple. If you are going to fire a coach and pay that sort of a buyout, you better have a really good plan in place.
The jobs that he lists to watch in the coming weeks at this point. By the way, in 2012, the first firing came 3 weeks into November, so it was still a good ways away.
Okay.
At that point, this is an obvious one. Michigan State, they have an interim coach because of Mel Tucker.
Sure.
Interim coach at Northwestern. Their job will be open after the Pat Fitzgerald thing. Again, neither were on-field reasons. West Virginia, Neal Brown, his buyout's $13 million.
I think he'll survive.
Okay. Obviously, the weird situation at Michigan with Harbaugh, he is on the list. His buyout is 25 plus.
I think he will be coaching in the National Football League.
Dana Holgerson is on Dellinger's list, $15 million. That's a big buyout for Houston.
My guess is he survives.
Sam Pittman, buyout 11 to 16 million, depending on who you believe, at Arkansas.
My guess is he does not.
And then notable because he knows people.
He can save it.
Okay. And then notable because he knows people here. Mississippi State, Zach Arnett, buyout $4.5 million.
After a couple of conversations I had yesterday, I would flip a coin.
It's amazing to me, but I mean, all jokes aside, I put credence into Steve's confirmation of that guy. The screenshot, we have time. I'll go ahead and read it.
I actually would give Pittman a better chance of surviving right now than I would Arnett.
So this was from Steve. Well, okay. So a poster on Steve's page, I think he's on 3 now. Is that right? Or 24/7? I'm sorry. Whichever one. Credit to Steve Robertson. I don't know.
I don't know where he is.
So this post was on their board. I'm giving full credit here. This is what should be expected. Nobody is going to make any kind of decision about a coach with 4 more games left to play, nor should they. If we finish 5-7, which is likely because we still play USM, Arnett will not be fired unless we get throttled in the Egg Bowl. If we win the Egg Bowl and finish 6-6 and go bowling, that will guarantee Arnett is given another year. Then when signing day is over in February, we'll be looking at a recruiting class ranked anywhere from 35th to 40th, assuming we hang on to the higher-rated recruits that we currently have committed. And if you followed MSU recruiting long enough, you know that's not going to happen. So we're looking at a historically bad recruiting class this season, one of the worst we've had in a long time. Next season will be a carbon copy of this season or worse, and we'll be going through this all over again for the second year in a row. That will set the program rebuild back even further. So honestly, the best long-term solution for the program might be to lose to Kentucky A&M and get blown out by Ole Miss. The only way Arnett will not be retained will be for that to happen. Steve responded and simply said, a reasonable post here.
All right. I don't want to spend a hell of a lot of time on Mississippi State because there's other stuff that's far more interesting. But if you're Mississippi State and you want to move on from Zach Arnett, letting one game, even, and I know over there it's the Egg Bowl, which is like the holy grail of all things, which is the reason that they are where they are, frankly. Letting that game determine what you do is so stupid. It's why we're going to have this conversation about athletics in a minute.
Yeah.
Remember that theme. There's so much stupidity in our world, including us, by the way, media, because I've got media takes today. If you are going to fire Zach Arnett, you know that now. What he does against Kentucky or Ole Miss or Southern Miss just doesn't matter anymore. If the decision's been made that this guy is the wrong fit.
We went 6-6 because we beat Kentucky. He's in and cool. We go 5-7, lose to Kentucky. He's out. Like, ugh.
I mean, so let's just play this out. This is a nightmare scenario, but it is Halloween. Here's the trick for Halloween. Quinshon Judkins fumbles twice.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart plays the worst game of his life. It rains. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something weird happens. Mississippi State 27, Ole Miss 17.
Sure.
He's safe now? Because of that?
Yeah.
Because Dart fumbled at his -8 and they
your recruiting class is still going to suck. You're headed to Birmingham, and Ole Miss still went 9-3 and went to the Citrus Bowl.
That's so stupid. So you punt for a year and then it implodes. No.
No, we'll just fire him next year after they lose to Ole Miss and Oxford.
No. I mean, okay. But now here's the other question if you're State. And I don't want to spend a lot of time.
we're good. Yeah.
If you're State, okay, you fire Zach Arnett, who's a perfectly good defensive coach. He will get a defensive job within minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, he will get a defensive job. He'll get his $4.5 million and another job
He's cool.
at a Power 5 defensive coordinator within seconds. It won't get announced right away, but trust me, the phone will ring. Now what? You don't have him to kick around anymore.
And again, he might be God's gift to football in Starkville, but even your message, I said this yesterday, even your message board people, hey, who are we looking at? Who can we get? Rhett Lashley.
I mean, what does that do? What does that do?
That's changing the game. Didn't Auburn run him out on a rail?
Yeah. What does Rhett Lashley do? You're walking into a state where you're competing with Lane Kiffin and into a conference that is just stacked. But to add Oklahoma and Texas to this thing. And God only knows what's coming.
Rhett Lashley's one completed season as a head coach was SMU 7-6 last season and lost to New Mexico in the Sun Bowl. I don't know. Who cares? Now, look, he's doing a good job at SMU.
It's fine.
Yeah. But
what if he says no?
I don't know.
What if he uses it just for a little more money?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Because would you rather have $3 million a year at SMU or $4 million a year at Mississippi State?
I know. SMU.
Because he's a young dude.
Yeah. Final part of the list, A&M on here, but they still owe Jimbo over $70 million. Syracuse, Dino Babers, $8 to $9 million. Tom Allen, $20 million buyout on Tom Allen. You know, I love you, Tom, but $20 million?
Hey, kudos to his agent.
Is that Jimmy?
I don't know. Whoever
hell
it was,
of a job.
Whoever it was did his job. Yep. 1,000,000%.
Jesus.
There will be no
parlayed an Outback Bowl in the COVID year into.
I won't listen to the Jimmy Sexton slander.
Cha-ching.
Jimmy Sexton's job is to protect his clients. The end.
Big titanium shield over them.
That's his job. His job is not to protect
an institution.
Schools from stupid contracts. It's not his job. It's not. People push back. He's evil. No, he's not. He
can't make you sign it.
I'm fairly sure that he does not hold the schools at gunpoint.
Yeah.
It might feel that way, but it's not really gunpoint.
All right, we going into Lane first?
Sure.
Okay. Lane Kiffin, his weekly press conference yesterday, what he said, what he meant quick hits up, a lot of ways to digest and ingest the press conference from yesterday, including the video up at rebelgrove.com as well.
I laughed out loud.
He was on point from the very beginning. It was nothing but troll and shade throughout Lane's media op yesterday, where every question came back to the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Yet, it was all compliments. It was all compliments.
I'm fairly sure that he stopped looking in my direction because
he was going to laugh.
I was laughing, and he might have gotten amused at me laughing.
And he couldn't laugh. It had to be stone-faced.
He was very quiet and stone-faced and sober. And it was hilarious. And I was trying not to laugh because I'm scolding myself at the time. Well, you can't laugh at this right now. You've got to be serious. But it was so funny.
And it's from the opening salvo. These guys are absolutely loaded. It's actually a mind-blowing collection of talent. As you watch them offensively, defensively, return game, special teams, it's an NFL roster. Height, weight, speed, explosiveness, receivers that can score, blah, blah, blah. The collection keep that word in mind,
Yes.
of defensive line has to be one of the best ever. The linebacker is SEC Player of the Year. It's like a great week of practice, great preparation, great scheme to play these guys. Huge challenge. Phenomenal job of getting a collection of players. They're extremely elite and talented players, even better than a year ago. Big challenge.
I mean,
And
there's a lot of truth there.
He did nothing but compliment them.
And there's a lot of truth there. I mean, I promise you on their pro day, the NFL will be there will be there in spades, man.
A&M's done a great job of collecting players and putting them together, so it's a big challenge in the next answer. And then it was hidden at the bottom of an answer, but there were two biggest blows, I thought. One of them, that's our goal, to keep getting better and winning games.
Yeah.
We're going to try to achieve our goals and not let others achieve their goals. I think Jimbo said their goal was to be bowl eligible. So if we can get in the way of that, that would be good for us too. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was just fantastic. I couldn't.
Oh, my God.
When he said that, I mean, I literally choked. I was like, I mean, I kept looking around the room like, are you guys getting this? Like, this is amazing.
Okay, how much preparation went into this? Or was he just off the cuff for the most part?
No, it wasn't off the cuff. He was ready to go.
Did someone prepare remarks for him?
No.
He did it.
Yeah. No, that's like, I don't know the guy, but that appears to be his wit. Very
It
dry.
Is. And look, it's not the funny who knows. He hates this SOB.
Yeah, he hates Jimbo.
He hates him and also has this like weird frustration because he's going, you have so much money.
Mm-hmm.
You suck.
Well,
you should be winning everything.
He basically says it. I mean, he basically says, do you know what I do for that collection of talent? We're having to Band-Aid this thing together with
give
the
me
portal.
that checkbook.
Let me just go get the 5 stars. Because Lane believes in 5 stars. I'll tell you that now. Whenever somebody does something like great as a 5-star, he's like, well, I mean, there's a reason he's a 5-star.
Yeah, that's why he talks about Centurion to the level that he does.
Yeah. He'd love to have 10 of those. And he's right about that linebacker for A&M.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you guys haven't watched A&M this year, warm-ups are going to make you nervous. They looked the part. And that linebacker, I can't think of his name right this moment. Dude's a stud. I mean, he is a beast. Highly recruited, and you can see why when you watch him play.
He was asked about Max Johnson instead of Connor Wegman.
Yeah, I asked that. I asked if
Okay.
What I said was, has the offense changed
Right.
since Wegman went out and Johnson came in? Because I had a feeling I was going to get what I got.
And he had already complimented Petrino in a different question above that. Talked about how he was with him, whatever.
He was the offensive quality control guy in Jacksonville when Petrino was the OC.
Yes.
Back in the late 90s.
Yes. And then he says, like I said, they're better personnel than a year ago, and a lot of those young guys are a year older, and they're obviously way better schematically.
It's great. You're so great.
Again, it's a compliment. Doing nothing but complimenting their program.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Just a couple of guys, I won't name names, were frustrated with the press conference.
Oh, really?
Media types, yeah, it wouldn't surprise you. Basically, well, if they're so great, why are they 5-3? And one of the people said that as he walked out of the press conference after Kiffin because he needed to go throw it up as fast as humanly possible. And I said, well, that was sort of the point.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are subtle. This wasn't even subtle.
Ask about Georgia's that's about A&M's defense again. Says, talent-wise, as good as anybody. I certainly realize who's coming up next on the schedule, Georgia. But these guys, when you look at height, weight, speed, and the way they run, I don't know how you collect much better talent. So congratulations to their group that collected those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Collected.
Collected.
Over and over and over again.
I mean, he's not wrong. That was the great part of it, is when people go, he trash talked. No, he didn't.
He did nothing but compliment their program.
It was no trash. Now, he threw gazillion layers of shade, but there was no trash. And so in the event that Texas A&M wins the game and people go, well, Lane walked himself into that. No, he didn't. He said they're more talented than Ole Miss, and they are.
There's three, actually. The second that I really laughed at, he was asked about Jimbo on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And I think, the media person asking was expecting just the, hey, it's really hard, blah, 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 blah.
It was
stuff.
one of Sokolov's guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And instead he says, I don't know that, meaning you don't know it's going to affect them positively or negatively. I think people said he was on the hot seat last year, so I don't know that the rally around him thing works. Holy hell.
No, so good. So good.
Part of the profession, I think it just comes with it. You got to get back to work and do the best you can every week.
Yeah.
He was on the hot seat last year and kept sucking, so what's the difference?
I mean, he was on the hot seat last year and they didn't rally around him. What makes you think they're going to rally around him now?
And then
oh, God.
The close that settled the entire thing. That I just stopped for a minute.
Pièce de resistance.
Yeah, I just kind of stopped. It's like you put the perfect garnish on the dish and serve it, and the chef goes, that's it.
Or the salt thing.
Yeah. Just got the extra Michelin star right there.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it was a dumb question that Lane used to his advantage. Somebody said, are you worried about them looking ahead to Georgia?
Yeah.
No.
No.
That will not be a problem inside the Manning Center this week. No, this team is too talented to look ahead. If they were, they got woken up this morning. We showed them the film. I've said a number of times, it's like an NFL roster of talent collected and out there together. And no, it's even harder to beat them than it was the last 2 years because now they have Bobby Petrino running the offense.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
This is a really, really, really elite, talented team that
really.
could easily be the top 5 team in the country.
That's what I wrote in what he said, what he meant. I said, really, times 3. In other words, if they had a coach, they'd be in the top 5. And here's the crazy part. He might not be wrong.
Well, no.
They're really talented.
Somebody threw this in front of Jimbo yesterday.
Oh, for sure.
Within like 5 minutes. Hey, Jimbo, you see Lane's press conference?
But what's Jimbo going to say? They're 5-3.
Now his blood pressure, I'm sure, went through the roof.
I mean, if you asked 100 coaches, you can have the Texas A&M roster or the Ole Miss roster. They might try to go, hey, was there any way I could just take? No.
Can I have Dart? Like, yeah.
No. One or the other. Okay, give me A&M's. Why? Because there's elite defensive talent. There's an elite return specialist who can play wide receiver. There are dudes on the outside. They don't get the ball because they can't get it to them. There are dudes on the outside that Kiffin would kill to have in Oxford. And the truth is, Kiffin would do a better job with Max Johnson than Jimbo has. He'd put him in positions to succeed.
What did Jimbo say yesterday?
I haven't seen.
It's up, but I haven't looked at it either. Not that.
I don't know.
My favorite thing, actually, is the A&M boards are pissed off at Jimbo at this point, too. They hate him as well.
Yeah.
So the first reply to the thread on the rival site when Kiffin's video got published was, I don't want y'all talking about Jimbo. Lets the scoreboard do this talking, which actually did really crack me up.
Well, there's nothing more funny than a fan base that's done with the coach.
Well, yeah, because like even in the thing, it's like Lane's such an asshole, and I'd love to have him. It's like
I don't know.
We could be covering Jamie Chadwell right now.
He's undefeated.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Need like Sarah McLachlan music coming over the podcast.
I probably wouldn't be doing what he said, what he meant. It's like it's the one content item. And I give Kiffin credit for this. I think any other coach in the country, or certainly of I've ever covered, with the possible exception of Andy Kennedy, would push back on that content item.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about it that way.
Andy wouldn't push back. He would find it amusing.
Yeah, sure. It's whatever.
But any other, like...
No.
That's not what I meant. I meant what I said. No.
Just playing.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Having fun. Because God forbid it be fun.
This sport is built on fun. It's the stupidity of it. It's all dumb. That's why people like it.
Yeah.
We'll get to Dabo in a minute. It's all dumb. Like, it just...
I'm probably going to surprise you on Dabo and Hugh today. I'm probably going to shock you.
Okay. We'll see. We'll move into that in a second. First, you ready to elevate your college football game day experience? Check out Twisted Tea, your go-to game day beverage for college football fans. Unlike any hard beverage you've had before, it's real brewed tea, packs favorable punch with 5% alcohol, no carbonation, delivering the perfect balance of taste and refreshment that goes down smooth for every game day occasion. No need to settle for the usual. Twisted Tea turns up any occasion, especially when you're cheering for your favorite team, you're tailgating in the stadium, parking lot, watching in a bar, hosting friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to elevate your experiences. It complements your love for college football and your passion for creating unforgettable moments. So let's toast to unforgettable game day experiences. Twisted Tea, the drink that fuels fun and your love for college football. Keep it twisted.
Sorry, Carson and I are having an NBA conversation via Instagram. Yeah. Let's see. We're brought to you by Whitney McNutt, Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors. If you're searching for residential or commercial properties in Oxford or Tupelo, contact Whitney McNutt for amazing professional service and support. Contact her at whitney@tmhomes.com or 662-567-2573. We're also brought to you by Dead Soxy. Best socks you'll ever put on your feet. We'll have a post-game show on Saturday afternoon, not a late-night show, Saturday afternoon show after Ole Miss, Texas A&M. It's brought to you by Dead Soxy. Go to deadsoxy.com, promo code Rebel Grove for 25% off the best socks you'll put on your feet. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Contact Andrew Sego with Sego Wealth Management. He specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan, whether you meet at his house. His office in Collierville, probably can meet at his house too, or prefer Zoom from anywhere. Schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. We'll have a hand raised, guys, on Thursday. It's brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names. Same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. A-Stock is a Nashville-based online retail company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items start at just $1. That's right. Every item starts at just $1, no matter what the retail value may be. Shop now at astock.bid. That's ASTOCK.BID, or download their app. Name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock has multiple locations around Nashville and Memphis, and others coming soon that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. If you're coming in this weekend for the game, stop by the College Corner. It's their newest location is in the Oxford Commons, right off Sisk Avenue. More than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. Plenty of parking available. Their staff will have you in and out, ready for the Grove in no time. Also have 2 locations in the Jackson area, and you can check them out at collegecornerstore.com. And speaking of getting ready for the weekend, you want your game changer patches. They're the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch used before or while you drink. The overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game and ready for your next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com, promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer medicine for your prescriptions the same day each month. They take care of you. They also will transfer your medications, one phone call, and they take care of the rest, whether that be Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford. That's 662-236-2222. Which direction you want to go? You want to go Hugh or you want to go Dabo?
Up to you. I'm good. I can go either way.
Let's do Hugh.
All right.
Let me look for the exact quote. Give me a second to find it. I had Dabo's stuff up, but let me get to Hugh. This was during his press conference yesterday. They beat Mississippi State over the weekend. They had a multi-touchdown lead for most of the game. They dominated the game.
Yes.
It was never really in doubt whatsoever. By the way, Medeo.com, I forgot Mark Hudspeth is now at Gulf Shores High School, and he's in the middle of all kind of crap there now.
Shocking.
They've got all sorts of issues.
Really?
You shocked by that?
Zebras and stripes and all that.
Blown away by that a little bit. Hey, he was a hot name at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Had some stuff.
He did.
Had a little bit of stuff.
Just a little.
All right. back to Ainsley Lee. We're reading a lot of Ainsley Lee from AL.com these days. Mississippi numbers going through the roof as Hugh Freeze is the head coach there. So I'm hoping she gives the exact transcript, but nonetheless, we'll discuss it. So Auburn scored 24 points in the second half of their win over over Mississippi State on Saturday. Only 3 in a 27-13 win over the Bulldogs. Gets a question yesterday.
They scored 24 in the first half.
Correct, yes.
3 in the second
Correct,
half.
yes.
Right.
27 total points, 3 in the second half, 24 in the first half.
Yes.
Freeze was asked the difference in offensive production and why he was not more aggressive during the second half of the game yesterday. It's a dumb question.
It's a stupid question.
It's a really dumb question.
It was a tone-deaf question. It was one of two things. It's either one of these fanboys asking a question so that he can hear his voice on the video, which happens every single press conference.
Yes.
Or it was somebody whose feelings were hurt because they were supposed to beat Mississippi State by more than that.
Yes. And frankly, there's a section over there that just doesn't like Hugh and is trying to stir it up, period.
Yes.
He hasn't,
Well, he looks vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they're going for the throat.
Yes.
It's a little different media than the one that he had here. And I'm going to guess it's like a different planet from the one that he had at Liberty.
So Freeze, I'll try to get the full quote because it's kind of interlaced inside this article. Will you permit me to be transparent with this and we can have an honest dialogue about this, okay? Do you realize we had one possession in the third quarter? All right, what did we do with that? Got points. Pretty good drive. Do you realize in the fourth quarter we had the football on the -3, the -5, and the -14, meaning their own side of the field.
Yep.
And one possession on the 30 that I punted on 4th and 1. They're bringing gut cross and superfield missile every play as we're backed up trying to get into the game. And I was aggressive. I actually threw it for a first down, and we got called for a penalty and back. I threw it 3 times, which is pretty crazy probably. But I would love after this for you to go show me what aggressive looks like on the board, blocking superfield missile and gut cross. I want to know.
This is the part where he just blows it.
I don't know how to be more aggressive. That's possessions we had. That was it. So I would love to have had some possessions like we had in the first quarter at the 25 or the 30, but I promise you I was not going to be aggressive up 2 scores on the 5-yard line or the 3-yard line and let something crazy happen and there'd be a tip ball and all of a sudden momentum flips. That would not be based in good wisdom.
He's 100% right.
100%.
He had the game.
There are multiple levels.
The goal is to win the game.
I give him credit for, frankly, how he called the game. It was a dumb question that deserved a dumb answer.
He actually gave it a smart answer.
He gave a very smart answer, and in doing so, which, frankly, coaches sometimes should do even more, point out there's a lot going on you guys aren't seeing, so can we cut the shit? Because it's a weird thing. It's 2 things. It's, A, all coaches aren't rocket scientists, but at the same time, they clearly see the game in a way we're not seeing the game.
Yes.
Both those are true.
It's why I don't do the X and O content.
Yes, both those things are true.
And I laugh at the people that do X and O content.
And then Freeze's problem that he's never been able to find needle correctly is, I would much rather you do this and acknowledge you've seen people say stuff than Saban go, is it election day? Don't be an idiot. However, Freeze gets so emotional with it, and it bothers him to the point that it impacts his job.
Yes.
There is a way to understand, hey, they're saying this, that's kind of dumb. Here's my response. And hey, I'm bothered to the point of this, and I'm about to get emotional in my answer. And Freeze struggles with that middle ground. But for the most part, I didn't mind what he did.
No, his answer's right.
Yes.
Here's his problem. It's been his problem. And if he doesn't fix this, this is going to eat him alive, and he's not going to last long at Auburn. Okay? It's truth. I'll get people ask me all the time, I'm sure you do too. You think Kiffin likes you? I'm like, I don't know. How could he like me or dislike me? We don't know one another. And they look at you like that's I'm like, no. His job as it pertains with media is, in my opinion, is to be respectful and fair to media that is respectful and fair to him. That's it. It's a transactional thing. When he has a press conference, I've always felt like if I ask an intelligent question, I get an intelligent answer. If I ask a thoughtful question, I get a thoughtful answer. I'm cool with that. That's the extent of it. Freeze isn't comfortable there. Freeze wants the media to like him. He wants the media to be part of his team, to be part of his program. And that only works if you're just winning. The moment you lose, the media that's emotional, and now in today's media world, there's a lot of emotional media. They're the ones that turn on you. and they've turned on him. What are they, 4-4?
Yeah, I think so.
A little better than that, man. I don't know, whatever they are. They have 4 losses. Yeah, they're 4-4. That's not good enough there. It's not the standard there, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, 4-4. 1-4 in the SEC.
Yeah, it's not the standard there. You're supposed to beat Ole Miss there. You're supposed to beat Mississippi State there by a lot. And when it doesn't happen, people ask questions. And why didn't we win by more in the second half? Notice nobody asked Kiffin that on Saturday. I'll give our beat credit. We sort of understood. It was 26-0. The game was over. He knew what was coming next. What'd you expect?
Because he's right. You throw a pick right there, they score. It's a one-possession game, and suddenly you're in a mess.
Well, yeah.
Who knows?
Well, you might give the game away.
Yeah.
You had the game. You're playing a team that
State can't score.
You're playing a team that can't struggle on offense, and you're up multiple scores, and you've got the ball deep in your own territory. Don't screw it up. Just punt it. Move the clock, punt the ball, stop them again, get it back, and that's what happened. The ball stayed on that side of the field forever.
Yeah, Grind, that was probably like manna from heaven for Brian Stoltz. Grind says he'll be okay because he's the one Auburn media member that's openly said he and Hugh are really, really good friends. He's kind of latched onto Hugh for years now, way before the Auburn thing came too. So that just sort of happened.
I mean, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah. That name stuck out when Grind said that. I went, oh, I remember that.
But Hugh sort of showed what he really wants from media. Remember, it was one of his first spring at Ole Miss. And he brings out the big box.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I was covering a baseball series at Alabama. You called me during the game.
He brings out a big box of Ole Miss gear.
Yeah, coach issue stuff. Yeah.
And he does it in this joking way. He goes, hey, if you guys are going to be out here all the time, at least you can dress better. And I remember thinking, surely this is not going to happen, what I think is about to happen. And it did. It was full of gear and people look
T-shirts and stuff,
sweatshirts, T-shirts, stuff. Most people looked at it like, I can't, come on, stop. A few people, of course, grabbed armloads, but it was revelatory. That's what he wants. The relationship he wants is a collegial, we're in this together relationship, and he's not going to get that in that state. He's just not. He's going to get some of that.
Yeah, he'll get a ton of that and none of that. There's nothing really in the middle.
Right.
It's pitchfork or cuddle.
And so he's going to have to learn. I don't think he can. He's got to adjust the way he approaches media, because Hugh can be the guy that says, I don't read what you write, but that's a lie. He reads every word you write.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to stop. Because, look, it's a slog. He's got a long process in front of him. And he's going to have to get thicker skinned as it pertains to media. But in this case, he answered that exactly right. He was, and I don't have a problem with him defending himself. That's what he should have done in that spot. But like, no, you're wrong. Now, when he goes, hey, you want to come show me on the board? Well, no, that's not the reporter's job either. His job is not to show you.
That's my point. You went emotional.
Yeah.
Like, just answer the question.
Yeah. No, I mean, here's what we did. This is why we did it. But hey, do you want to come show me how to defend super fuel missile against -7? I mean, whatever. No.
Because even that was, hey, I'm using jargon that is impossible.
Right.
You didn't even phrase it in a way for a normal football person to understand
Right.
what you meant.
Yeah, it's like when Jeffrey said this on Twitter yesterday. He's exactly right. Well, no, do you want to come fix a technology issue with our soundboard here?
Yeah.
Smart.
It doesn't mean you have an issue with what I said. Like, yeah,
right.
It's not.
Now we're being petty, and that's his problem, is that he gets petty so fast. No, just say no. Here's why I did what I did. That's what I did.
Which was full of sound football logic, and everyone with half a brain would go, yeah, it makes sense.
Yes.
And you move on with your day.
Yes.
Probably would actually ingratiate him a little bit. Go, hey.
No, this is why I did it.
Yeah.
Our job was to win the game. We won it.
We had a 2-score lead. We had a 3-score lead. Why am I throwing the football?
It's like I've got a mailbag question. It's about Clark Lee. Some people are like, did Clark Lee, should he have kicked a field goal late to cover the spread? And it's like, no. Clark Lee's job has nothing to do with the spread. His job is for his team in that moment, the message you send is, no, we're not settling for 3. We're trying to score a touchdown. If you bet on us and laid 25 and a half or took 25 and a half, that's on you. It's not me.
Sean McVay differs, but yes.
But at the end of the day, I mean, his job is not to protect your gambling interest. His job is to do what's best for his football team. Hugh did what was best for his football team. He won the football game. That was his job. He's getting paid a lot of money to win. Nothing else. Win.
Yeah, Neal and I mentioned it off camera yesterday. He's asking about the English hockey player that died on the ice. It looked weird. It looked like it had intent to it to some degree. Or at least it did not look like a natural hockey play. Let me say that.
I mean, I've never played hockey.
Yeah, sure.
I don't watch a ton of hockey, but I've watched enough hockey to go, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it was a move that just looked completely unorthodox.
What's been interesting, and I've allowed myself a couple of times to go deep dive a little bit, and then I've stopped because it's gruesome.
Yeah, sure.
But guys who either play or played hockey professionally believe there was intent. Now, intent to kill him.
Yeah, different. That's.
But there was an intent to use his skate to knock him off.
Right.
And then I think he lost some balance and horrific. Just horrific. But I don't know how I'm also not in law enforcement, so I don't know how you would prove intent.
It's why I would assume from my very little knowledge of this in any way that the only possible charge would be manslaughter to whatever degree that you have that. Because, intent to negatively impact, play him, whatever, sure. But intent beyond that is impossible.
Yeah, and the guy was engaged. They were about to get married. Beautiful couple. Just beautiful couple. It just tragic. Just sick.
So
it was awful.
Yeah. Get into Dabo in a minute. Well, after the next break. The one thing, and I know when I was discussing this for the show too, and I'm gonna forget. I saw the quote from Mike. I posted this on Rebel Grove yesterday. Hunter Elliott has not had a setback in any way in his recovery. He had the surgery May 2nd. He had Tommy John, and I had heard nothing but pessimism regarding him throwing in 2024 since day one, frankly. Hunter saw a lot of different doctors. He went coast to coast looking for surgical options for different doctors. He took a very conservative approach to his recovery. I've been texting with a few people this morning. Keith Meister out of Dallas did the surgery. He's kind of the foremost major league doctor there is right now for this hybrid procedure that in most cases gets players back faster than typical Tommy John recovery. Typical Tommy John recovery, obviously 12 to 18 months, depending on where you fall on the scale, to 100% recovery. The hybrid procedure allows for a faster timeline for that. However, it appears that the protocol for Hunter is very conservative. 13, 14 months. Talked to somebody this morning who said Meister has the ability sometimes to really prolong recovery when it comes to these things to make sure. And Mike said that the recovery process is going to put Hunter into June of 2024, which would miss the entire 2024 season. But I saw it phrased multiple places, including on our board, as a setback. It is not a setback. It is just a very, very, very conservative approach to his recovery. So I really know nothing beyond that. That is where I'm at, but that's kind of what's going on. So Ole Miss at no point has indicated that they expected Hunter Elliott to pitch this season or to have him in their plans for their rotation. And Mike put a voice to that over the weekend.
So is that the end of his college career?
I would certainly assume so. It would really surprise me. He's just in a weird spot because he hasn't thrown by June of 2024, he will have not thrown a pitch in a competitive game for 2 years outside of what was a shell of himself.
Yeah.
In the middle of last year, in the middle of last year. Or I guess the opening weekend of last year when he got hurt. But I mean, if you're a team, you're not drafting off that.
Certainly not high.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I have a hard time believing he's going to wait around to the 2025 season too. So I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I'm not sure. I can't put words in his mouth, but the entire thing has not felt like he will throw again for Ole Miss. Strictly an opinion. If someone would like to differ with me and explain, feel free. I'm not saying I'm right, but it's kind of where I am on that. So
it's interesting because so many guys now, routine's not the right word, because anytime someone cuts on your arm and it's not routine. But you know what I'm saying? It's fairly commonplace for pitchers to have that surgery, and they all sort of come back at the same time in the same ways. And most of them come back
better,
effective.
Yeah.
And a lot come back better. Yet I've never had, you've had that. I haven't. I don't know the psychology that's involved in cutting it loose again, letting it being free and go. And this is not a criticism of Hunter at all. Not any, zero. I just don't know. I would, we're all wired differently, even though we all have the same, body, they fix your arm, but people have different brains. And if he's not comfortable in it, if he's not confident in it, then I mean, it just is what it is. But at some point, if you're going to play professionally, he's got to overcome that hurdle.
And the deal with that, I mean, I've had Tommy John, but my barrier for return in Hunter's is so different because he's got millions of dollars or, a pro potential here. I mean, some small college scholarships, but all I had on the table here. So this is not like it's some, I mean, me cutting it loose at 82 miles an hour wasn't going to be the same thing as what Hunter's doing. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. That's where it's at. He will not pitch for Ole Miss next season. Their rotation will probably be would be Rivas, Quinn, and Doyle is my guess right now. But I have taken the editorial tack to not put any effort into fall baseball whatsoever because it means nothing.
Yes.
It is just not translated to the spring ever, and even less so in recent seasons. So it's become a cheerleading contest, and I'm just going to avoid the cheerleading contest at this point.
Oh, I'm interested to see what you mean by that.
Well, all we do is point out the top performers every week, it's spring training. Hey, the guy might just be throwing fastballs this day. He might be doing this. I mean, the newcomers, if they hit, they're really impressive. I have no issue with it, but that doesn't necessarily translate to the mindset when the lights come on in the spring. You can hit in the fall when there's nothing on it, and then no show in the spring. And now sometimes there's a guy like Jacob Gonzalez who shows up on day one and some just hits. I mean, but how to differentiate between that is almost impossible.
Yeah, it's how I am with spring football. I know you have to cover it. Yet at the same time, I've almost gotten to a place where unless the coach says something critical, I'm not paying a lot of attention.
Yeah, I've been much more interested in, hey, how do you feel like you put the roster together? What is it going to look like? How do you do this? What does it do? What's the portal guys? How'd you go about that decision? Then, hey, the portal guys did this, did that, and they were great against Memphis on Saturday. I mean,
right.
Ole Miss played Memphis for 12 innings, and they beat them 13-9, I think. They played Jacksonville State for 12 innings, and they beat them 18-0. Okay, I don't know. Quinn has looked really good. If I put effort into anything, it would be JT Quinn has really taken a step. It's the fall. I don't know.
Yeah, and I would be more interested in analytically, what has he done statistically?
Yeah. Riley Maddox is fully healthy from Tommy John now. Yeah. 2 years later, looks really good. Josh Mallett's is 100%. He should be fine for the spring, and he gives Ole Miss a closer, which is worth its weight in gold.
Sure.
I mean, look, they weren't going to go win 16 SEC games, but they'd have won 3 to 5 more with Mallett's on the roster last year.
Yeah.
Because they blew so many games in the 8th and 9th inning.
Sure. That affects the way you manage the game.
Yeah. 6-24 could have become 11-19.
Sure. Well, they weren't a 6-win team. They have everything that they had 2 back-to-back seasons, one where everything at the end, everything that could have gone right did, literally everything. Yeah. And then the karma hit the next year where literally everything that could go wrong did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sports.
Chalk it up and move on. So anyway, Parham Shrimp, ParhamShrimp.com, 7 different flavors available for you. You can try a bunch of different ones. You can know your favorite. Just get a lot of those because we're helping you out. You buy 5 pouches or more, use code RG with ParhamShrimp.com, and you get 25% off. They also have the 2-pound bags of individually frozen shrimp, kind of like what's at the grocery store. It's a very higher quality shrimp than New Orleans-based company. So remember, that's code RG with ParhamShrimp.com, signature New Orleans-based, tons of options, ParhamShrimp.com.
We're brought to you by Pinnacle. Pinnacle, home to the 401k advisory services team. They can conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. It's mypinwealth.com. MYPINN wealth.com. John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis is the guy to get in touch with if you want a trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories. Just give him some parameters, give him a budget. He's going to give you options that you're going to have a difficult time finding on your own. 901-494-3387 or Jay Edwards at regencytravel.net. It's almost November, which means it's holiday season. If you are thinking about a company dinner, a festive party event, a company Christmas party, get in touch with Opa on the Square in Oxford. It's Oxford's newest Greek restaurant. It's a great place to have that event. Festive, fabulous food, craft libations as well. They can accommodate up to 200 guests. For catering or booking information, contact Jeannie at 601-421-7147. We'll have picks up on Thursday. They're brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency, connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, Service Specialist can help. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You have nothing to lose, so give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138 or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Get the beautiful and healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bevel McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. So schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com. What he said, what he meant is up at rebelgrove.com, along with a lot of other content. Check that out. What he said, what he meant is brought to you by myperfectfranchise.net. Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, a diehard college football fan, franchise veteran who owns multiple franchises and businesses and uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. It's myperfectfranchise.net, Andy at myperfectfranchise.net, or call him at 404-973-9901.
It is Halloween, but Heavenly Sunshine has Christmas on their mind. So they still talking to you about holiday lights by Heavenly Sunshine. When they know they're beautiful, they can be a lot of work. So let them take care of the hassle and do the work for you. Their full service installation plan, they'll install, take down, and store the lights. Commercial grade LEDs that are 100% customizable to your home or business. Let them take care of the lights while you take care of the gifts. You can book your free estimate with Heavenly Sunshine. They've been serving the Mid-South for 4 decades. Full service commercial residential property maintenance, power washing, soft wash roof cleaning, facade cleaning, and window cleaning. HeavenlySunshine.com, 662-342-1203. So, Dabo Swinney, Clemson head coach, having his call-in show last night. Clearly a frustrated fan base. They are 4-4 overall. They are 2-4 inside the mighty ACC at this point. But for context, because it's very relevant here to the discussion, we'll call it germane. Dabo Swinney took over for Tommy Bowden in the middle of the 2008 season. Took him a couple years to get going, and then since then, pretty damn good. Starting in 2011, so he went 6-7 in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2011, 10-4, 11-2, 11-2, 10-3, 14-1, 14-1, 12-2, 15-0, 14-1, 10-2, including last year him catching basically shit for the program going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
They went 10-3, including a bowl loss.
Yeah,
sorry, 11-3, including a bowl loss.
Yeah, so
they played in the conference championship game and played in the Orange Bowl.
That's correct.
And that's when they went, oh God, he's screwed everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're 4-4, 2-4. So he's on his call last night. And I'm kind of all over the map on Dabo usually, but I mean, it's a lot.
I'm probably about to shock you.
Am I going to do you mean paraphrase or do you mean read it? What do you mean to do?
It's a long read.
I'll skim.
Okay.
So,
it's
guy
like
from Tyler.
It's like a 5-minute answer.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do all that.
2.5 minute answer.
Yeah. So
he let Tyler really go.
Yeah. So Tyler, I think he's from Spartanburg, if I have correctly.
Tyler from Spartanburg.
And again, when you have a frustrated fan base and you allow calls, this is going to happen. It just is.
I actually think all coaches should have to do this because I think they would have more respect for like people like you and me that manage message boards.
Yeah, the read of the fan. So I guess Dabo had given an explanation for things right before this.
He had. He's owned it.
Even in this, he'll get there.
Yeah.
I appreciate everything you said, Coach Swinney. Sounded a whole lot like Tommy Bowden. And I'll tell you one thing, Bowden didn't make the same amount of money as you do. You make $11.5 million. That's second in college football. Curious why that salary has led to a 4-4 record. I know we're going to talk about it just being a couple plays away from undefeated and all that. And I know you're a man of religion. Big fan, Coach. And then he goes into his chops as a fan. So I'm not going to accept being in that 1.5%, and I respect the fact that you're a man of faith. I'm curious if you ever read Proverbs 16:18, which talks about pride coming before the fall. Again, he was in the military, couldn't watch games, blah, blah, blah. Something changed after 2018. You're humble, you're hungry, and everything. And always I tell people, man, Dabo, just listen to his press conferences. But after that 18 national titles, something changed. There seems to be a lot of arrogance that came in, a lot of friends and family. I mean, 3 of the 10 on-field football coaches are external experienced hires. Everyone else was an internal hire that had no experience before and was a former player or friend. So I'm curious why we're paying you $11.5 million to go 4-4. That is the paraphrase of Tyler's question.
Everything all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know. Never mind. I know it is. Okay. Let's see. And then Dabo comes in. Says, I don't care how old you are, and adding he doesn't really care before going to saying that fans like the caller are part of the problem. But let me tell you something. We won 11 games last year, and you're part of the problem, to be honest with you, because that is part of the problem. Adding, it's people like you that all you do is the appreciation, the expectation is greater than the appreciation, and that's the problem. He reflected on his decade of success with Clemson, saying before his stretch of 12, 10-plus win seasons, Clemson ain't sniffed a national championship for 35 years. We've won 2 in 7 years, and there's really only 2 other teams that can say that, Georgia and Alabama, okay? Is it a bad year? Yeah, and it's my responsibility. I take 100% responsibility for it, but all this bull crap you're thinking, all the narratives you read, listen, man, you can have your opinion all you want. You can apply for the job, and good luck to you, all right? Then touts his program success, 98% of the players, blah, blah, blah. But part of the problem is blah, 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 blah. What's the difference in Clemson? Let me tell you. At some places, there's an expectation. But at Clemson, there's an appreciation. But what's happened at Clemson is we won so much that even when we used to be the fun is in the winning, now when you win, people like you complain and criticize the coaches and question everything. People like you. When I heard Tony Elliott to be the OC, who had never called a play in his life, I'm sure you were critical then. And he took us to 2 national championships. People like you love to destroy people with your comments. I'm sure you never made any bad decisions. I'm sure you lived a perfect life. I'm sure you've led a bunch of people. I started as low-paid coach in the freaking business, and I'm where I am because I work my ass off every single day, and I ain't going to let some smart-ass kid get on the phone and create this stuff. So you got a problem for that? I don't care. I work for the trustees and the president, and they can, if they're tired of me leading, they can let me know, and I'll go someplace else where there's an appreciation. It's not just winning. It's how you win. Am I perfect? Far from it. Man of faith? Absolutely. Blah, 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 blah. Goes on and on. Well, he wanted to do all these things, and he did all these things. He's been a part of failure, but he's never actually failed as a human. That's what he said. That's what he said.
I know.
He said he's been part of failures. He has not failed. And then he closes. If you don't like how I run the program, don't be a fan. I don't care, but I'm the head coach, and I'm going to do what I believe is right for the long term of this program, what's best for the players, and what I think is best for the moment. If you got a problem with that, that's fine, but I'm not going to sit here and let you call. I don't give a crap how much money I'm making. You ain't going to talk to me like I'm 12 years old. You got to be freaking kidding me.
All right, first question, because some people are out there saying this, and I don't think this is the case, but I want to ask you, do you think there's any chance this was a plant?
I can't say any chance, but my guess is no, simply because coaches don't like that stuff aired like that.
Okay, I agree.
But, I mean, sure, anything's possible.
So I got lots of thoughts.
Okay, first, if you haven't I know I read it. If you haven't listened, you need to listen because it comes off differently when you listen.
He was angry.
He was very angry, but he wasn't. When we're reading it, we're giving like inflection to certain words that he didn't really give. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
It's very flowing at that point.
No, he had a lot to say, and he let it go. And in many ways, he's right. Because here's the thing. You as a fan have a right to get pissed off and to be angry. But that fan got personal. He
100%.
said, you changed. I know you're a man of faith, but you changed. Yeah, well, everybody changes, man. Of course he's changed. The sport has changed. Different coaches have acclimated to that change better than others. There aren't many fan bases that wouldn't trade for Clemson's last 12 years. You know what I mean? I mean, I would argue, and listen, I agree with Grind in the thread. I think it's over. I think the fat lady is singing right now.
There's so many things here.
But
Mm-hmm.
he deserves an opportunity, if he wants it, to try to fix it. And he said that he's going to try to fix it. You can't fix it in the middle of October. It's not possible. That's a card. That's the hand you've been dealt. There's no trade deadline. You don't get to go, hey, it's at the waiver wire here.
Look,
No,
the reason
you
there's
got your
angst
roster.
on Dabo Swinney is not because he lost 3 games last year to a point. I'm going to get there in a second.
Mm-hmm.
It's how he's ridiculing NIL and the portal and the way college football is
Yes.
being maintained in
Yes.
2023. That's the reason that he deserves criticism
Yep.
and the reason he's catching so much hell. It's not the actual record.
Right. But-
It's not the actual record.
But he has every right to defend himself when people get personal. Because if you won't defend yourself when people get personal, then nobody will.
My question, my guess, Doors, is the guy told the call screener he was asking a much more innocuous question.
Yes. And then once he
Okay.
got started, they let him go.
Yeah,
And
what do you do?
To Dabo's credit, he let the guy go.
Yeah. My guess is he said, hey, I'm just going to ask Dabo, how do you fix this? Okay, cool, sweet, whatever.
Yeah. And that's not what he did. He insulted him. And the truth is, Dabo's right. I mean, nobody would look at Dabo Swinney and go, failure. No, he won
a lot of damn
won
games.
2 national championships. You know how many coaches would cut off their right leg for 2 national championships? But where he's wrong is look, the sport has changed. We talked about this yesterday. It's the Mississippi State thing earlier in the show. It's the Arkansas thing earlier in the show. The changes are twofold. Before you make the change, understand why you are where you are. It's not just because the coach is bad. Dabo didn't become a bad coach. The sport has changed, and he has not changed with it. It's why Lane's doing so well at Ole Miss.
Now he might be a very average coach in this climate.
Could be. We're about to find out. Like I said, I agree with Grind. I think the fat lady is just absolutely bellowing right now. I mean, I think she is hitting the high notes right now. I think it's over. That being said, the question, I don't know the internal dynamics at Clemson. Can you be an NIL power at Clemson? I don't know. Beats me.
Yeah, look, I agree with Ginger. Clemson's done. The era is over. There's no doubt about that. He's probably done there for one reason or another.
And he's unhireable. Like if I'm
he's stubborn.
He's stubborn. And so if I'm Mississippi State, Arkansas,
no,
whoever,
God, no.
I mean, before I even think about it, it's like, hey, are you going to do NIL? Because if you're not, if you're anti-NIL,
we can't even have a conversation.
There's no point in even having a talk.
So all that stuff is true. I understand why he's catching tons of criticism because, frankly, he's been arrogant and high and mighty about the portal and NIL and stuff to the point that it just turns everybody off. And you go, well, it's like anything else. You come into a job and they go, well, hey, this is why I want to do it. It's like, okay, but that's not how the market is run. Right. So great, but
you got to adjust.
One or the other.
Got to adjust.
Yeah, you don't get to set the rules. You get to work within the concept of the rules.
It's the baseball guy that goes, I don't like analytics.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Well, the whole sport's run on analytics right now, champ.
So the two other things, though, is, and it's a complicated thing because you don't want to be this Pharisees type, I'm throwing it on you and lauding it over you with the religion thing. At the same time, I do hate that the religious guy is held to the standard of, hey, you can't make a mistake. It's like, no, that's not the point.
Right.
In any way,
right.
They would say that. So whatever. And then 2, and this is where Dabo has the best point. And I thought that I kind of, especially when I listened to it, I went, you know what? I'm kind of with you. Because we see this in a lot of sports. A lot of teams that start winning. Fans get so stressed out by the winning, where the journey almost becomes the more fun thing as you're building and winning and getting to that point.
Yeah.
And then when you have the level of requirement to stay there, fans almost make themselves miserable. Hey, God, if we don't win this one game, we don't win 12, we don't win 13. It's like, this is supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be enjoying the level of success you're having. And it doesn't. It becomes a task.
Well, let's be real here with Tyler, okay?
Yeah. But in general.
Yeah, but Tyler represents a lot of fans. When I say this, I mean this sincerely. For some of those people, this shit just, pardon my French, this shit just means too much. It just means too much. Tyler's fifis are hurt.
Yeah.
That's bottom line. His feelings are hurt. How dare Clemson not win? Hey, the other team's trying too, man. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. But when and I guarantee you, Tyler, the quote man of faith and the military guy, I guarantee you he's the guy that he's letting it dictate his life.
Yeah.
Because he's talked so much trash to other people that now it comes back on him a little bit, and he can't handle it, and he's mad at Dabo. So he's got all up in his feelings. And frankly, Dabo doesn't owe Tyler anything. Because at the end of the day, Dabo works for Clemson.
Yeah.
And Clemson will make a decision and they'll move on. If you as a fan want to express your displeasure, it's an easy way to do it. Don't go.
Yeah,
Don't go.
Everybody in this conversation is acting some way arrogant because, number one, Dabo, don't say you've never failed. Shut up.
Of course, everybody's failed.
It's ridiculous. Everyone has failed completely. And then you're getting paid $11 million. Do what?
Theo hasn't.
Okay, fair. Yeah. And then you're getting paid $11 million. You're getting paid to win a lot of football games.
Yeah.
So if they decide they want to move on from you, and I know you said that, but it was this placeholder bullcrap.
Sure.
Okay. Then don't make $11 million and you won't have to win 11 games.
Yeah. No, I mean, they pay you.
Because it's not even like the SEC where Lane, like I said, for him to just beat everybody, he makes more money than he goes 8-4. Brian Kelly makes more. Brian makes more than Lane does.
Yeah.
Jimbo, Nick, Kirby, all those are on the schedule this year. They all make more. So if it's a salary contest, well, Dabo's salary contest is 12-0.
Yeah.
Nobody makes Dabo money in the ACC.
So it was just interesting. But I didn't have a problem with him defending himself.
No,
he got attacked. And you should, if you won't defend yourself, it's like people are like, why do you engage on the message board? Because if I don't defend myself on it, nobody else will. And if you're going to get personal, I'm going to defend myself.
I thought he showed his cracks is more what I found interesting.
Of course.
I had no issue with him defending himself, and then I looked at it and went, yeah, those two sentences tell me a lot.
Of course. Tells you that he's scared.
And arrogant.
Yeah.
I'm doing it this way by God, and I'm...
In fairness, the number of people, it's what makes Saban so incredible. The number of people who win at that level and don't become arrogant is really small. It's really small.
Well, when you and I don't mean this because he's a religious person, I just mean in general. When you have the level of success he has, he develops a bit of a God complex.
Sure.
Can't fail. It's on you.
And he does a lot.
And you start hiring more friends because what the hell does it matter? We're winning anyway.
Yeah.
I'll go hire my buddy. We'll hang out in the office.
He thought he had this thing figured out. And for a decade, I can see why he thought that. And then it changed. It changed. It's why I tell you, just because Clemson won in the 2010s, it does not mean they'll win in the 2020s. In the same way that, I don't pick a team in the ACC. Just pick one.
Florida State.
Just because they didn't win in the 2010s, it doesn't mean they won't win now.
Yeah, good.
That applies anywhere. If Kentucky, for example, went, you know what? They had held a meeting today, got everybody in the room and went, hey, look, it'll piss a lot of people off, but here's where we're going.
Basketball second.
We're going to treat basketball like what it is. It's the second most important sport. Okay? We're throwing money into football. We're getting into this portal, and we're getting serious. Hey, they'll win more. They will win more, Chase.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it is just because you didn't win doesn't mean you can't. In fact, history has never meant less. It's never meant less than it means today.
He's frustrated because they were great at paying under the table, and they can't do the same thing over the table.
Yes.
They were the number 2 team in the country at paying under the table behind Alabama.
They were terrific at it. And that's not a criticism. Those were the rules back then. They've changed the rule book.
And he hasn't adapted.
He hasn't adapted. It's what makes Saban great. Saban's adapted.
And he's probably having a rough week because they lost NC State. They're 4-4, and he's probably losing to Notre Dame this weekend.
Well, before today.
What happened?
Well, I'm kind of curious.
Oh, really?
I'm kind of curious to see how this gets handled in the locker room.
Really?
Like, this is the opposite of Pat Narduzzi.
What did he do?
Oh, they got mauled last weekend, and he's like, yeah, we thought guys were better than this. And you didn't see the social media reaction from his players?
Oh.
Pat Narduzzi lost his locker room. I don't even know who Pitt plays.
But you like that guy?
I don't know what the line is, but that will be one that I will look at. Because if you tell me that Pitt players don't really play that hard Saturday, I buy it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Maybe guys rally around Dabo here. Maybe they play their asses off. And then maybe they're just not good enough and it won't matter.
Which is certainly possible. Notre Dame beat Pitt 58-7 on Saturday.
Yes.
Pitt is at home against Florida State on Saturday.
Yeah, never mind. What's the line?
21.
Well, I might lay them.
It hasn't moved since Narduzzi said that. Started at 21, ended at 21.
So I don't know whether guys will be pissed off and play harder or whether they'll be like, screw you, man.
I mean, if you'd like the Pitt money line, you can get good odds on it.
Well, I don't like the money line.
Not good.
I like Florida State laying the points,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
know.
Florida State's hitting that point of the season where the coach realizes that style points don't matter, just win.
W's.
Just get W's.
And my schedule's not complicated. That
I
complicated.
guess it might depend on what comes out tonight. If Florida State comes out 5th tonight, do they go, all right, screw it, we're going to go win 70-0?
Clemson's remaining schedule: Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, South Carolina.
Well,
They could go 6-6.
There's not a gimme in that group.
I mean, they're probably going 6-6. They're probably losing to Carolina, losing to Notre Dame, beating Tech, and beating South Carolina.
I mean, I tend to agree, but both Georgia Tech and South Carolina are capable of beating Clemson.
Yeah.
Where's the South Carolina? It's in Columbia.
It's in Columbia.
Where's the Georgia Tech game?
Clemson.
Okay.
They're home. Carolina's their only remaining road game.
Okay.
They're home against Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and North Carolina, which is a really strange schedule. But they've already played 4 ACC road games. They have lost them all. Those are their 4 losses. Because even 2 of their 4, all 4. Their wins are Charleston Southern, Florida Atlantic, Syracuse, and Wake Forest. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So
I don't know what the future of that
I don't either.
job
We
is.
don't know yet.
Like if Dabo were to leave tomorrow, how attractive is the Clemson job? You don't know what league you're in.
Yeah.
I don't know what resources they have. I don't think it's a massive alumni base. For a while, that's where all the kids wanted to go. I mean, in fairness to Dabo, I mean, he made Clemson a bigger institution than it had ever been before.
Mm-hmm.
It was super popular with like high school kids for a while when they were winning.
Yeah, sure.
And that was football. So I mean, he's right. For 3 decades before him, Clemson was just whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I want to see how the rest of the year goes. See what it looks like. See kind of how, if he does adapt or if he just puts his foot down again when the season's over and you go, nope, that's it. Peace then. Cool.
What's his buyout?
A lot. It's like $65 million. Because they gave him a new contract last year. He signed through 31.
What would be interesting with him is he one of these people who can listen to other people and go, okay, yeah, you know what, you make a point, and make some adjustments, or is he so set in his ways?
Yeah, I know.
Again, it's the part about, take this back to Kiffin, it's the part about Kiffin that I feel like we don't give him enough credit, even though I think I do it twice a week. What Kiffin's doing, the way he's roster building, is not what he has in mind.
No.
It is not the way he would like to do it.
He's had to adapt.
If you told Lane, hey, how would you like to build your roster? He would say, like Alabama, Georgia, and Texas A&M. I want to get a bunch of high school guys in. I want to develop them. I want to have competition. I want to
smatter the portal.
I want to recruit at a really high level, and I want to go to the high levels of the portal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pay my own guys to stay.
And then add on.
Use the portal like a baseball team uses free agency.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he would like to do. Yet, I think he feels that that's not possible right now. And so he does it a different way. I don't think the way that he does it, and he acknowledges this over and over, so I don't even think I'm guessing here. When he says the problem with the portal is that the chemistry is such an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Culture is such an issue. I don't think he's just saying that.
He's not wrong.
No, I think he's telling you the truth. I think he's being transparent.
But
But it is adapting because he goes, but this is the way it works. I mean, there's a column in my mind if they get to 10 or 11 wins this year that, I mean, I'll tell you, I'm going to lead it with I was wrong. I didn't think this would work.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people inside that building that were like, I don't know that this is going to work, man. There's a lot of new faces. Like, guys, there are guys on that team that still to this day aren't really sure who the other guy is when they're not in uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not normal in a college football program. And yet he's made it work. It's a massive credit to him.
Yeah, Caleb Warren told me last week, he said we were in the middle of the practice and a safety came in on a blitz and looked up through the helmet and went, I have no idea who I'm blocking. Don't know who it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yet they've made it work. And
Yeah.
and I think this is the part that Dabo would struggle with based on that answer that Kiffin does not struggle with. Like the Trigg thing. Kiffin could have been really stubborn about Michael Trigg. No, I evaluated him. I wanted him. We got him. It was a big deal. I made it a big deal. And by God, I'm going to make this work. As opposed to going, it didn't work.
I mean, whatever's going on with Ashim.
Yeah.
Same thing.
The Texas A&M wide receiver. Do you know how badly he would love this week for Chris Marshall to be out there running all over Texas A&M on so many levels? Do you know how if
that wouldn't open Ole Miss's offense that you couldn't bracket Trey Harris?
A dialed in Chris Marshall in this offense? I mean, my God, with Trey Harris and Jordan Watkins and woo.
Yeah.
And throw Trigg in there as some tight end depth where you could do some 2 tight end stuff, be a rolling ball of butcher knives. Mm-hmm. But it didn't work. And he said that the other day. You're going to have guys. You're going to have guys that don't buy in.
Yeah.
He's learned that in this. You bring them in, and it's more than football. Yeah. And when it doesn't work, you got to get them out.
Yeah.
That's adapting.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you by the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. Basketball season tickets on sale. Men's and women's. Women's as cheap as $50. Baseball renewals and season tickets on sale as well. And then single game Ole Miss football tickets. I think the VIP packages are out for the Tadpad game that's coming up the night before ULM football in November against Sam Houston. But it's another way to watch the game. It's not on TV. It's not being streamed. You got to be in the arena at Tad Smith Coliseum. So you can get general admission tickets now as well. For all those things, OleMissTix.com.
Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails. A lot offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings, from beginner lessons to advanced to competing in nationally recognized competitions. It's also a great venue for events, corporate outings, things of that nature. So get in touch with them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. Would you like some peace of mind knowing that your roof is taken care of? Whether you need an inspection, a new roof, or a maintenance program, Riverland Roofing has you covered. Home or business, as a GAF Master Elite contractor, they can offer warranties that last a lifetime. Licensed and insured, Riverland services Mississippi and its surrounding states. Text or call Riverland today at 662-644-4297. Are you ready for the ultimate college experience? Welcome to College Town, Oxford, your new home away from home. They know you want the best. That's exactly what they offer. No more long commutes or missing out on campus events at Ole Miss. College Town, Oxford is right next door to the Ole Miss campus, offering spacious 2, 3, 4, and 5-bedroom cottages, each with individual leases because they believe in flexibility and simplicity. Their incredible amenities will make you feel like you're living in a resort. Whether it's a weekend binge-watching session or hosting the best game day parties, you'll do it in comfort and style, cheering on the Rebels with your friends. The community is designed to give you the perfect blend of comfort and convenience. So grab your friends, pick out your favorite floor plan, and reserve it today at collegetownoxford.com. Text their VIP list today to be the first to know when their leasing for fall 2024 is open at 662-300-3733.
Podcast is brought to you by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. Service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Got home as well. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's NESPARC.com. 662-238-3159. Phone service, phone controls, network security, and much more. That's 662-238-3159. Had a statement come out yesterday that a certain offensive coordinator will not return next season. Brian Ferenz time in Iowa City.
Yes, it's over. They needed to silence that.
The athletic director, Beth Getz, announced on Monday in a statement, interim athletics director, quote, after conversations with head coach Kirk Ferentz, coach Brian Ferentz, President Wilson, I informed Brian that our intention is for him to be with us to the bowl game, but this is his last season with the program. Making this known today is the best interest of the program and its loyal fans. It provides clarity during this pivotal time in the schedule. There's no doubt about that.
So he's in court.
It is not my practice to be involved in assistant coaching decisions and certainly not to be made public in such a change during a season. Our priority is to put all of our student athletes in the best position to have both short-term and long-term success on and off the field. Our football team has a group of outstanding young men and talented athletes who at 6-2 have a lot to play for. As a former athlete, I know every opportunity to put on the jersey is a cherished one. As Hawkeyes, let us continue to support our coaches, our student athletes in their pursuit of a Big Ten championship and bowl game victory. I guess she's no longer thinking they can win the national title because that was not included in their goals for the rest of the season.
Looks like that's out. Bad call cost us that shot at the title.
She opened with, anyone who loves Iowa football recognizes both the success and challenges that have brought attention to our program this season. Our struggles on offense, coupled with the offensive coordinator's contract, make a unique situation.
That's true.
I mean, I don't have a problem with anything she said.
No. Now Kirk can say to his wife, hey, I didn't fire him.
That was Beth.
She did it. Bitch at her.
I mean, she's an interim. She just got here.
I mean,
makes mistakes sometimes.
It just makes me sick.
I went in and argued. Okay?
I was going to give him a new deal.
I mean, we're going 10-2.
I mean,
come on.
He didn't call for a fair catch, honey.
He's hurting his own legacy by this.
He is.
He's destroying his own legacy.
Well, there's a lot of people that think he's retiring at the end of the year. That is strong scuttle.
It's been Iowa's OC since 2017. Was the OL coach from 2012 to 2016 and added run game coordinator responsibilities in 2015.
Yeah.
Run game coordinator, a good title that you get to increase your salary a bit along the way. Salary was reduced by $50,000 to $850,000 this year. And he received performance objectives, as we have previously mentioned. Yes. 7 wins, 25 points per game. Iowa currently averaging 19.5 points per game, which is 120th nationally. So there are 10 worst offenses in the SEC in the nation.
I think I saw 2 of them in one day.
All that was missing was the uniform colors in the conference, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You could have thought you were at an Iowa game.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, this is Iowa and Northwestern. Okay.
Yeah, I would have bought it.
I mean, they lost Cade McNamara. I think you just got to give him some opportunities. I mean, got adversity, got stuff.
I wonder if the stadium beer at Iowa is good. They serve beer in Iowa?
I don't know. They're 132nd nationally in third downs and 127th nationally in time of possession.
Whew.
Do you know how good Phil Parker is?
Oh, dude.
They are 127th in time of possession.
I mean,
meaning Parker's on the field all day.
Have you watched their defense?
Yeah.
I always wonder what the hell practice must look like. Like, I'd actually like to go to an Iowa practice.
Hey, we're scrimmaging today. Good on good.
I mean, where Parker has to go, hey, what do you think? I don't know. I mean, I think we're okay, but I mean, we keep playing a middle school team.
I told you it's my favorite thing is I wonder if, like in the fall camp when they're talking to Kirk and they go, "Hey, how'd the scrimmage go? Who won?"
Oh, the defense won.
The defense won today. We did some good things. Got 3 or 4 first downs. Moved the football a little there in the latter half of it. It's all good. Oh, Lions won last night.
Yep.
Knocked off the Raiders. Very frustrated Devontae Adams.
Very frustrated.
They think he might have played his final game as a Raider last night.
I don't know what his contract situation is, but I would think he would have some trade value.
Gibbs had a big game last night for Detroit.
Yeah. Detroit's good. Bounced back from that really bad loss.
26-14 over the Raiders. NBA trade last night.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little tomorrow. Harden headed to L.A.
To the Clippers.
Yep. Thunder involved in this?
Thunder were involved in this, yeah. They included a 2026 Clippers pick
for something.
In exchange for a 2027 Clippers swap and something else.
Okay. And then in the World Series, Texas 3-1 last night in Arizona to take a 2-1 lead in the series.
Rangers are 9-0 on the road this postseason.
Game 4 tonight. Is it still Chase Bank?
I don't know what it's called now.
Okay.
I've been there.
I have too. Yeah. I think that's right. Well, or at least it was right at some point. So yeah, Texas 3-1. Been a well played series so far.
It's gonna be chilly tonight. You getting out?
Oh, it'll be out. It'll be a party. People everywhere. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I like Halloween.
I like Halloween too.
Yeah, it's all good. I do wonder if the cold weather will have a smaller crowd than usual. I don't know that, but I just kind of wonder a little bit.
No, I like.
But yeah,
I like Halloween a lot.
Yeah, all in on that.
Gonna be what's it in the 20s tonight?
And dress up day at school. You could wear a Halloween costume to school today.
What's she dressed up as?
A witch today, and she's doing like one of those blow up cat things tonight for the actual trick or treating. Was Batgirl at the trunk or treat on Sunday at the church. So
let's see what we're looking at.
Typically do a lot of costume changes.
What time's trick or treating? Is about 6 o'clock?
About 6:30.
All right, so 48 degrees at 6.
Okay.
44 at 7. You're done by 8.
Yeah.
42 at 8.
Oh, we're okay.
Yeah.
It's not like 22.
I would argue it's perfect.
No, that's pretty good. Throw a hoodie on and get on with your day.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, no, you'd be all right.
Okay. That's fine. That's fair. So.
No chance of rain. It's sunny outside.
Yeah.
It's a perfect day for it.
Halloween tonight. We'll recap that for you tomorrow. I'm sure something dumb will happen in college football today that we'll talk. Also, tomorrow, I guess what has become NPW Digital political correspondent Austin Barber joining us in the morning. We're going to do a segment with him regarding Mississippi's upcoming gubernatorial election, which I think is going to be pretty close. So we'll talk to Austin about that, the dynamics around that. Voter turnout, which is interesting, too, in a year that is not a national election of note. So that and more coming up on tomorrow's show. Jeffrey joining us on Thursday. Got plenty more coming. Ole Miss and A&M Saturday at 11 a.m. So we'll talk to you soon. Talk to you tomorrow. Stay safe.